Hello, adventurers, and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Boardwalk, Discovering Virginia Beach. I'm your host, Joe Trahan, and together we'll explore the beautiful tapestry of Virginia Beach, weaving through the local stories, hidden gems, and vibrant events that make our coastal paradise truly unique. Today, we're thrilled to have us a very special guest, born and raised in Virginia Beach with a deep love for her city and unparalleled knowledge of its culinary scene. She's an avid foodie and well-respected voice on Google, social media, TikTok, restaurant reviews, and fellow explorers alike. Please welcome Amanda.
Hello.
Hey, Amanda, welcome to the podcast. How's it going?
Hey, thanks for having me. Going good.
Wonderful. Well, I am super excited you are here. Let's get started with your origin story. How did you come about Virginia Beach? And as a very rare non-military affiliate in Virginia Beach, how has this unique perspective really shaped your relationship with the city?
Yeah, well, like you said, I am born and raised in Virginia Beach, native, lived here my entire life, have never moved. So I am definitely, my roots are strictly in Virginia Beach. Both of my parents are from around the Hampton Road 757 area, the Seven Cities, that sort of thing, Chesapeake and Norfolk. So we go way back. We are definitely Virginia Beach natives. And yeah, there's no military affiliation, which is very rare for this area. We are surrounded by military bases all over Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Chesapeake, all over the place, Portsmouth. And I have no military affiliation in my family, probably back in the great grandparent age, that sort of thing. But anything recent, there is none, which, like I said, is very rare. Normally someone's grandmother, maybe grandfather, mother, dad, brother, something like that, is military affiliated, and I have none.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's very, very weird.
No worries. If you don't mind me asking, what industry or sector are they in? Because many people might associate Hampton Roads, like you said, or Virginia Beach area with just the military, but there are quite a few other robust industries in this area. Are your family folks, what industries are they involved in?
My dad was actually with Norfolk Southern Railroad, so that is kind of a big thing over like where the Norfolk shipyard is, which is another big industry around here, is the shipyard, not just with the military, but with actual people working at the shipyard, not military affiliated. So he worked over there. And my mom was just in construction, which is pretty big around this area as well, with everyone down in the ocean front building up, and just them building up town center, building up all over the place, because they're constantly building up places and trying to build the area up for tourists and locals and that sort of thing. So they were both in kind of those types of situations in those industries.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's really cool. I appreciate you sharing that and giving us some insight too, because unfortunately there's a myth that it's just like military or, salespeople, but it's very robust. As you mentioned, the shipyard, construction, those are some pretty vibrant industries, as well as the healthcare industry too. It's a very well-connected city.
Oh, yeah.
Amanda, would you mind giving us some, it's lunchtime right now. Would you mind giving us some unique dining experiences? Obviously, it plays an active role in our community because we eat, a couple times a day. So would you share some of your favorite Virginia Beach restaurants and why they hold a special place in your heart, or in this case, your appetite?
Yeah. Well, actually, one is kind of recently. Me and my fiance, we probably went there maybe about a month ago, and that is Tiki's Bar and Grill on Holland in Virginia Beach. It's Holland Independence, around that area. They are amazing, especially if you're looking for a type of getaway atmosphere. As soon as you walk in, you look like you are at a tiki bar. It is transformed inside. They have tiki drinks that have the little tiki drink glasses that you can actually purchase separately. They do live reggae music on, I think it's Thursdays, but they have specials throughout the whole entire week. And it's just a really fun vibe. They have an amazing poo-poo platter that comes served, has about maybe maybe 4 different of the Hawaiian dishes and has a lit little fire in the middle of it. So you can kind of warm up the meats and that sort of thing. They were phenomenal. The staff was amazing. We will definitely go back to there. That's probably been the number one recently that we've actually gone to. As far as seafood, probably Surfrider. We went to the Surfrider in East Bay, Bayview, around that area, and it is gorgeous. You can sit right out on the water. They have sort of like an open porch, and you can see out into the marina. Seafood is amazing. They have all the good stuff, the broiled platters, the fried platters, they have all that. And that's been really good. If you don't go to the Captain George's buffet, then that one right there is probably the top one if you're not going for a buffet type of thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Captain George's buffet it'll definitely run up your price point to a significantly higher price point, whereas Tiki's and Surfrider are a little bit more moderate priced.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, having driven by Tiki's, it's very unsuspecting. I mean, you're driving through that and it's like, oh, there's a tiki place everyone's talking about. Like, it doesn't look a whole lot on the outside, but as soon as you walk in, it's like a teleporter. Essentially, you will be teleported.
Exactly. It's definitely a hidden gem. And like you said, it's off in the back of a little strip mall. So you kind of almost miss it because it's on Holland. Independence is very busy. And you see a food line, you see the big old Plaza Azteca, but you don't see little Tiki's, and they should really have a bigger spot. I mean, they are really, really phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that said, I want to just clarify for our tourist folks. So Independence and Holland, those are pretty main strips of roadway that are going to connect you throughout the Virginia Beach area from town center all the way to the oceanfront. Take 264 East. It'll drive you all the way to the oceanfront where the road stops and the beach begins. So wonderful road if you are visiting and you're taking a car. Pro tip, I actually created a free travel guide in our Discover Virginia Beach Facebook group. So be sure, and if you are interested in that, hit me up on Facebook Messenger or just comment below guide. And I'd love to send that over to you because there is so much to explore. That is a hidden gem that, it definitely can be easy to overlook. So Amanda, with that said, reviews of places are definitely a significant part of Virginia Beach. I mean, there's so much to see. It definitely plays a big part in our community. Now, you mentioned that your love for the city, but there are certain things you may not agree with or maybe have some qualms with as the history has grown and changed throughout the years. Maybe you could point out, and we don't have to get super deep into this, but maybe point out 1 or 2 tidbits of maybe some things that you would like to change about Virginia Beach or some things you'd like folks to be more aware of when they're moving to the area or just visiting.
One thing I definitely would like to point out is, especially if you're visiting, please, please, please just take care of our beaches. Whether you're local, whether you're a tourist, whether you've been here a million times. I mean, sometimes there's been, I think maybe last year it was when we had the Chicks Beach and people went down there and they totally trashed it. Not saying it's tourists, not saying it's locals, it's all of us. So we really, really have to be more cautious on how we're treating the beaches. If we want to enjoy the waterways, if we want to enjoy the sunsets, the sunrises, the water life and stuff like that, we have to protect it. I mean, we went to East Beach, which is in Norfolk, this past weekend. I mean, you would see little pieces of trash here and there washing up, but of course it's nothing that you want to see in your local beach. You don't want to see a trash bag or some type of trash that is actually washed up. So, I mean, I know it's hard when you have all that stuff, especially if you have kids and you're dragging everything down to the beach, but there's trash cans everywhere. It doesn't take a second but to go throw away a water bottle or a trash bag or something like that. So I really want everybody to be more cautious when they go around any of the waterways, whether it's a river, a marsh, anything like that. Really be more cautious on that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And that brings up a great point too, Amanda, because there is, there are many opportunities to help provide sustainability for the wildlife if you're a local. But if you are a tourist and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to be here for the weekend, right? I can't really get plugged in. So it's as simple as, picking up your trash. But if you are looking for one way to get to know the environment more and get to know about the sustainability efforts Virginia Beach has pursued, you can always check out the infamous Virginia Beach Aquarium. And then also what a lot of people surprisingly don't know about is the Back Bay Beach, which I consider consider on my list of the top 10 beaches to visit in Virginia Beach, go check out the Facebook group if you want the full list, because it's incredible. I mean, there's so many opportunities. But I say all that to say the Back Bay Beach gives you a really in-depth review with local marine biologists and scientists, really familiar with the landscape and the waterways, about creating sustainability efforts. So if you're like, oh my gosh, like, why is there such a vibrant oyster population? Then you can definitely go there and learn more about that.
Yes, definitely. And like you said, I really feel like we have a lot more water sanctuaries, and like you said, the Back Bay and the Rudy tours that actually go and do about 2-hour tours out into the wildlife, out in past the Rudy Inlet, down at the ocean front and stuff like that. So it's not just the ocean front we have. I mean, we have got marshes, we've got woodlands, we've got rivers, we've got it all. So it's definitely not just taking care of the oceans. It's just taking care of the whole city.
Absolutely. So with that said, that's one of the things you would change, is just making people more aware of the waterways and such. Are there any other maybe qualms or things you'd like to bring to folks' attention?
Just be nice to everybody. Like you said, without going into lots of political stuff, anything like that, because that's not what we're here for, and I'm not here for that either. But it's just to be kind. We are a huge melting pot here. Like military, shipyards, people travel, people like to come and get work visas and work down at the ocean front. I mean, we have a huge melting pot of people, and we cannot get along unless we're just it just takes a second just to be nice to somebody. I mean, just to say, hi, how you doing? You never know what somebody is going through earlier that day. In the last 5 minutes, you have no idea. And it's hard for someone else to have a good time if you're sitting there and bad mouthing, bashing, whatever you want to call it, on the other side. So it's just try and be nice to people. Everyone just be happy. Let's enjoy while we're here. And that's it. Just
I love it. I love it, Amanda. Yes, kindness can go a lot of ways, and especially with a 5-year-old under our roof right now that we're fostering, I learned kindness as well. So it's definitely one of those areas we have to be actively working on, which is definitely one of the reasons that inspired me to create this Facebook group and this podcast, Discover Virginia Beach. I mean, we've talked to local artists, musicians, restaurant owners, you name it, with different backgrounds and what I just collectively refer to as different vibes. And those vibes you may not all agree with, but it is always a great opportunity to recognize what exists in your community. That way you can know and respect what's out there as well. And because there's plenty of room for everyone here. So with that said, Amanda, I would love to transition to our next segment, which is going to be your personal and your work life, and how that has kind of changed throughout the years as the city has inevitably grown significantly over the past 10 years. Being in the real estate sector, I mean, it's crazy just to see how, unfortunately, how quickly the price point has risen for buyers and fortunately for sellers, right? Would you walk us through what that daily life and transition has looked like over your time living and working in Virginia Beach?
Yeah, well, since I've been a native and lived here all my life, it's like I have literally seen city basically change. Town center, I remember when none of that was there. I remember when Pembroke Mall was open and lively. I remember all of that. So you definitely see how the city is growing bigger, how now we have all these restaurants and companies and stuff like that in town center. You've got now Pembroke Mall is now closed, which is super weird to me. So that area is just constantly building up. And I've got 4 kids. They're all teenagers. One's in his 20s. So it's good to be able to see how the city is changing from a toddler and little kids' point of view all the way up to what a teenager can do, what a young adult can do, instead of me being that young adult. Well, now I'm that parent trying to help plan for my young adult child, or I'm now that adult trying to plan for my teenage child. So it's cool to be able to see how the city is actually building up and progressing. So we are not stuck in where we were 30 years ago. However, we're not as huge or something extravagant like New York City, where you're going to come in and be like, oh my God, there's so many people, I don't know where to walk, and that sort of thing. So we're in that good medium where we are progressing, but I don't think we're like over progressing or anything like that.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. I mean, just looking at the objective stats, I mean, Virginia Beach is the largest city in Virginia. And I think it's, don't quote me on this, I think it's 32nd or 33rd largest city in the US. So it definitely has seen tremendous growth from the small little coastal town it was, in the 80s and 90s, back when it was, for the most part, Virginia Beach was a hidden gem for most of its life. So that's an interesting point, Amanda. So you brought up raising your kiddos, and then they're now in their teens. So what are some of those really memorable pastimes that you've enjoyed? And it can be what's currently available, or maybe some things that have since, no longer been available to us as of today. What are some of the fun things you guys did growing up?
Oh man, there is a lot of things, unfortunately, that aren't available anymore because they've just closed down because that's how old I am. But growing up, I remember a lot of Christmas memories. I remember going to Norfolk to the Coleman's Nursery when it was a huge thing, which Coleman's Nursery was, of course, they had a lot of plants and that sort of thing, but they had a lot of older animatronics. It was just a huge Christmas feel. And that was I really, really miss that kind of feeling nowadays. I feel like we kind of got away from maybe a lot of the family stuff. And now everything seems to cost an arm and a leg. So you have a fortune to even just go to something like the Coleman's Nursery. But I love spending time with that. There's a lot of like petting zoos around for the little kids when they were younger. The obvious Chuck E. Cheese, that's always around. And going to Lynn Haven Mall was always a big thing when I was a teenager growing up. When they were younger, that's where they would go, and they would go to Build-A-Bear and that sort of thing. And as I got older, of course, things got more expensive or different. So Apex, my son loves to go to Apex, and they like those sort of things now. They like to discover, they like to ask questions. They like the paranormal, they like the unexplained. So they like all that types of stuff. And I feel like there's all of that around here. If you want paranormal, they've got haunted places down at the oceanfront that do ghost tours. If you want the aquarium for marine life and ask questions about that, I mean, we've got everything all around, no matter what age or if you're a family or anything like that.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I know there's so much to cover too, Amanda, and I really appreciate you highlighting those for us. Can you maybe name give us one story of maybe that could be an event-filled day or just an average day that means something special to you, spending time with your family here in the Virginia Beach area?
It would be going to the beach. We always like to wake up early. If you're local, you do that so you get to beat the crowd. And I mean super early. We normally wake up around 5 or 6 because there's so many of us, and we just get up early. We go hit fast food, or we grab some fruit or something, and we watch the sunrise. We eat a little breakfast, do a little seashell hunting, and then we spend the entire day at the beach, and then come home and just we're able to relax and just have dinner together. So it's just having those little quirks. They're like, why are you waking up so early? But it's just a whole feel and whole memory that we as a family. So I hope when they're older, they go, well, I remember waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning to go to the beach. So I hope at least they'll remember that.
Oh, that's very sweet. That's very sweet, especially like those memories really follow you and your family, right? As they enter into adulthood. And I'm sure you've seen this, and a lot of our group members are in that season of life where they're watching their kiddos have kids. So just being able to be a part of their journey, but also be able to share and cherish those past memories. It's super special for sure.
Oh yeah.
Amanda, with that said, I kind of want to wrap up this conversation as we unfortunately have to head back to work. But before we do, I'd love to ask you some rapid fire questions, and then of course send you off with a spotlight here where folks can go to connect with you. Sounds good?
Okay. Yeah.
So when it comes to the rapid fire question section, I'm just gonna ask you some rapid fire questions. Feel free to just answer to the best of your ability, real quick. Okay. So. Okay. When it comes to the best brunch spot here in Virginia Beach area, there are tons of selections, but when it comes specifically to the town center area, what would you say is your go-to brunch spot?
Ooh, town center. Would probably be Tupelo honey. They're very, very good, and they are central to town center. So I think they would be amazing.
Love it. Love it. Question number 2. What is your favorite beach to visit and why?
The Ocean View Ocean View Beach. I know not a lot of people go there, but it is very quiet. We've never had any troubles with parking, and it's just really, really quiet. It's not as busy as the ocean front, so we definitely go there all the time. It's either that or Chicks Beach, but it's been Ocean View Beach this past few months.
Love it. Love it. Love it. And question number 3, when it comes to a late night or a later evening at the oceanfront area, what's your go-to dinner spot? And what type of food do you like to enjoy there?
One spot that's kind of an older spot has really been there, Black Angus. They are an amazing steakhouse that is down at the oceanfront. They've been there for quite a while. They do not skimp on the portions, but they are very, very good.
Love it. Love it. And final rapid fire question for you as we wrap up our conversation today, Amanda. What has been one of the most difficult past businesses or features or places in Virginia Beach for you to part with as it's grown?
Oh, man. Let's see. There's so many.
Because maybe we could say 2. You could say two or 3.
Okay.
Don't want to give anybody FOMO, but there are some truly spectacular places that have ceased to exist. So I want to challenge all future business owners to be like, hey, this is your market.
Well, like I said earlier, Coleman's Nursery, I was extremely, extremely upset when they closed. Like when I was younger, that was the first thing I was like, when I have kids, I'm going to take them to Coleman's Nursery. And when I had kids, it was gone. So I couldn't even show them pictures of it. It was completely gone. It was just one of those magical places that you could just go and it just scream the holidays if you were into the holidays. And at that time, when you were a kid, you are. And I just really, really miss that place. Second, I don't know. Maybe Pembroke Mall. I know some people are like, oh yeah, we remember Pembroke Mall, but I mean like original Pembroke Mall, like when they first opened, all of that. I think that would be like what I really, really miss, what used to be there.
Love it. Love it. Well, Amanda, thank you again so much for your time. And I really appreciate you just getting on this podcast with us and chatting. I mean, for our listeners here, Amanda's, quite simply a resident of Virginia Beach. And she's a part of the Discover Virginia Beach Facebook group. And that's where we go to connect with great folks like her to just figure out what more of Virginia Beach people want to see and talk about. So with that said, Amanda, is there any final words, final thoughts, or any messages that you would like to send out to our listeners today? The floor is yours.
Yeah, no, just enjoy the area and definitely look for the hidden gems. Don't always go for the most popular. Don't always go for the 5-star reviews. Definitely kind of look around. And if you see kind of something hidden back somewhere, try it out because you don't really know what you're missing because there are a lot of hidden gems out there.
Wonderful. Well, that's it for this episode, folks. Join us next time as we continue to dive into the heart and soul of Virginia Beach. Remember, from summer fun to winter wonders, we got you covered here at the Discover Virginia Beach Facebook group and the Discover Virginia Beach podcast. So please be sure to hit that like button and subscribe and share this with somebody who is looking to discover Virginia Beach. And we'll talk to you guys later.